Now everybody, welcome to Wednesday's Late Lunch Live, where today's guest is Ireland's best known and most accomplished ballerina, and she's also the artistic director of Monica Loughman Ballet. It is, of course, the fabulous Monica Loughman. Wow, loving it. Now, she's best known in Ireland for establishing the country's first full-time professional ballet company. But most recently, she's been seen on Channel 4 trying and succeeding to help a troupe of plus-size amateur dancers to realise their dream of performing in Swan Lake. Monica, you are very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in.
How are you feeling?
Welcome home. I feel much better. Thank you for asking.
Hang on. I'll give you €1, right?
Thank you for asking.
And you can go outside and ring somebody who might care.
Right,
I
that's
care.
it. I'm actually going to go
Well,
to HR for the show, just so we know.
Straight to HR when the program's
Ooh,
on.
Claire was so funny. Claire was so nice yesterday. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dead to me.
Hey, let's make it about the guest.
Yes.
Please calm down. Can we get a Valium sandwich into the studio just to keep her sweet? Thank you. Now, Monica, this love for ballet.
Yes.
Where did it all begin? How did it start?
Well, I started ballet when I was 4, and I went with my 2 sisters, and it was just my hobby. And like most little girls and some boys, I just really, really enjoyed it. I just loved the physicality and the challenge of it.
They weren't pushing you into Irish dancing or any of that?
No, my mum just liked ballet. I think there's just something refined about it that she wanted us to have, I think. So that's my opinion now, of course.
Yes.
But yeah, I took to it. I wasn't really good at it when I was in Ireland, but I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed how difficult it was. Because it is very difficult.
It is difficult. Yeah. It's quite technical, isn't it, ballet?
It's very technical,
yeah,
very.
And then at 14, you moved to Russia.
Yes.
How did your folks feel about that? That's so young.
My dad had been in the Air Corps, so when I got the audition, I auditioned a year before and I didn't get it. And I kind of decided, listen, if I get it the next year, I would love to go. And they were kind of prepared, so they had like a year to think about it. And I did get the audition. And you know, I just kind of remember coming out and saying, I'm going. It wasn't like I didn't ask them, I told them. And
at 14?
At 14, but they were very gracious, and they kind of thought, whatever happens, and this is where they were very clever, it would be the makings of me, because I was the youngest of 3, and I was a little bit, mammied, and so just sending me out there, but there was always a kind of an option to come home. My father said, if you ever want to come home, you can come home. And because that option was on the table, I didn't go home.
And did they fly out and settle you in? And
no, there was 10 other Irish boys and girls, so there was 1 boy and 10 girls with me, and we all just went out and we all just got on with it.
Okay. So there was a group thing there.
Yeah, I wasn't by myself.
And provided some sort of a cushion.
But it still was difficult.
2 years later, though, you were on your own.
Yeah, 2 years later. So it was really 3. So 14, the year I was 14 was my first year. 15, and then 16, I got offered a job. Now I started getting offered jobs at 15. But legally, I wasn't able to take them. And I shouldn't have taken them at 16 either. You're supposed to be 18 before you can legally work over there. Okay. But they thought I was 18. And I just had enough of... I couldn't... you can only do your leaving cert so many times. And I'd already done the equivalent of twice.
Right.
So I said yes to the job. I started work. I didn't tell my dad or my mum. I'd started essentially an adult life. I had rented an apartment.
Oh, right.
Well
I just went and got on with it.
Yeah.
And I came home and I remember walking the dog around the block with my dad and having to tell him that, I got offered a job, and he just kind of stayed quiet, and I said, I took it. So that was it, And
what was life like in Russia?
It was really hard because... we were discussing this earlier on, the money, used to change so fast. So
it had just come out of that communist regime.
Yeah, the Glasnost kind of stage.
Yeah.
And, what you would have the equivalent to buy an apartment that, in hours later could be the equivalent to buy a Snickers. It was massive. I mean, they just got decimal points. It was like they went, OK, we'll stick it there. And we can't really comprehend that. But I saw the suffering that it brought, like people that had worked their whole lives as teachers and doctors, that everything they had worked for, all their savings were just eradicated in a couple of seconds.
Like inflation was actually changing from morning to afternoon.
Yes,
it was happening like that.
And some of it was interesting because some of the Irish people that I was over there would spend the day, this was for 2 days that this was actually happening really, really fast, would spend the day at the bank changing money back and forth. I did it about twice, they did it about 4 or 5 times, and they made massive amount of money on that particular day. And, I didn't have the wherewithal to understand what was going on, but they did. And the Russians were all there. Everybody that had any cash in their pocket was changing and swapping it 3 or 4 times in one day. It was very interesting to be a part of that and to be really stuck in the middle of it.
That was only, 18 years ago, 17, 18 years ago?
Yeah. It's somebody's lifetime, really. It's a lifetime ago.
It is.
Yeah.
And then you came home and you opened up Ireland's first ever ballet company.
Yeah, so I have schools all over Dublin.
Yeah.
I have Ireland's first ever full-time, so it's training people to be ballet dancers as opposed to sending them to England or to Russia to further train. I will train them to get work. So they will leave me and they will go and get a job, and hopefully this year we have our first female that will go from me straight into work. That's the kind of order of the day.
And what kind of age group?
They start at 13 and up to 17 or 18.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think your dream is just to have an entire ballet company with a production on stage that is just populated by Irish ballet dancers.
Yes, Irish and you know, everybody's welcome, but an Indigenous company I think is very, very important for the culture in Ireland. And to be honest with you, when I started my company, I had only 1,000 audience member, and in 1 year we went to 25,000. So we sold, like just last Christmas we sold 4 shows. We sold them out in a couple of hours in the convention centre. 4 shows, so that was 8,000 people.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's been really, really good, and the Irish people love it.
But you are, though, a very well-respected name, you know.
Well, I work really hard. I really I'm very respectful of my audience, and you know, if I disrespect them once, they won't come back, and that's it. That's all my hard work gone. So they're really, really important to me.
Yeah.
Okay. A career in ballet means a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
Your mum passed away.
Yeah. And
at that time, you were in Galway, in a production.
Yeah, I was dancing Romeo and Juliet. No, I was at home, thankfully, when she passed, but she was very ill, and I was in the Point Theatre dancing. And I remember, actually, it's when everything turned around for me, because when something like that happens, and I'm sure, you know, people that are watching this now will understand, you know, everybody loses someone you love, but it kind of made me reevaluate my life and think, when I went back to Russia after she died subsequently, I cannot stare at myself in the mirror all day, every day, and just be unhappy and constantly challenging myself. Obviously, there has to be more I can give to my own country to bring back, so that children get to be with their parents. And you know, for so many years my primary language was Russian. It was very difficult when I came back and tried to reintegrate into Irish, and with Irishness and with English language I still really, really struggled with it. And I just promised myself, this is why I set up the full-time academy, that children shouldn't have to do that, because your parents are so important to you, and I'll never get that time back with her. Now, she brought me up over the phone, we were talking about this earlier, and I have to say, thankfully, I think she did a great job, but I missed not having real relationships, because I was so focused, and I was so driven, and I was so ambitious. And you should be able to have that, but you should be able to, you know, be a part of Irishness and culture and life, and you know, have a place in this, you know, in Ireland, as opposed to constantly having to be exported away and never really being able to return back.
Yeah.
That seems to be your drive.
It is.
It is, yes. Now, stay with us. We've lots more we want to talk to you about.
I will send my daughter to you.
Do.
Yes, as always, we want to hear from you. We want to think about what you think. Now, the beautiful and oh so talented Monica Loughman is still with us.
All right.
You see what a bit of lamb shank and root vegetable mash can do.
Yeah.
You enjoyed that.
Glorious. Loved
Glorious food on the show,
yes.
I'd like to say.
Very fancy.
We are very fancy people.
Good job.
Good job. Now, tell us all about Big Ballet, Channel 4.
Okay, well,
programme.
Yeah. Well, I got approached to do it, God, it was a couple of months ago. I got a phone call kind of out of the blue, and they asked me how would I deal with, you know, what would I do if I was given, you know, these people to work with that would be a larger size than the standard ballerina. So I just said on the phone, you know, they asked me, first of all, do I think it was a good idea? And I thought, yeah, because it challenges what people think of ballet. And, you know, there are people that aren't, excuse me, tiny in size, but that have a certain kind of innate beauty and grace about them. And I've always really been quite fascinated by that. And then I didn't hear from them for months and months. And then the next call I get was Wayne Sleep wants to meet me over in London. I mean, I was terrified. I was thrilled and terrified at the same time. And he's such a lovely gentleman. He's got the most amazing, bountiful kind of energy. He just bounds into a room. He's like a puppy. He's brilliant. And we just kind of rolled our sleeves up and just really got stuck in. But it was a lot of discipline from the people that were participating and from myself. Like, I had to stay really focused the whole way through it, because, I mean, we had major ups and downs through it.
But you were saying that if they didn't make the grade, even after all the time, you weren't going to put the production on with them. No, and you saw one or two of them get a bit upset. But you know, as a teacher, my way to teach is being honest. I will tell you if it's, you know, if you're not listening to me and you're constantly making the same mistake over and over again, I will tell you,
you were in a bit of a ludicrous kind of situation here. Why are you in the classroom if you're not going to let me help you?
Yeah.
You know, and my primary concern was that they would be laughed at or scoffed at, or, you know, that this whole project would turn into a bit of a joke.
Yes.
And I wouldn't put my name to it, and Wayne wouldn't put his name to it if we thought it was going to be a bit of a joke. And we really wanted it to challenge kind of preconceived notions of what ballet was. So we just went for it.
Okay. Well, in that programme, you're working with amateurs. In the professional world that has been your career for so long, we hear all kinds of stories. So we had the movie Black Swan. Was that kind of a true depiction of what goes on, or grossly exaggerated?
It was, I mean, I laughed, I think, quite a lot of the way through it. But it was good. It was good for ballet because it brought people start speaking about ballet, even though, of course, like you were mentioning eating cutting wool. I never heard of that.
Is that true, or is that just a myth?
I actually heard about that in the UK, that people used to eat tissue paper, but I read about it.
Yeah.
You know...
You've never seen it?
No, of course not. But, you know, if you think of athletes, you would never turn around to Sonia Sullivan and look at her going, oh, God, she mustn't eat. You just know this woman is infinitely very, very fit. And we're the same. You know, we spend a lot of time training. So it's not that I'm not eating, I'm actually training all day, every day. And in fact, all I do is eat. I don't eat, I wouldn't sit down to a massive meal, but I would eat all day. I have to make sure I'm eating, or I won't make it through the day. If I don't make it through the day, I don't get paid. If I don't get paid, I'm out my year, and what was the point?
Yeah.
But don't you have to be a certain size or at least weight for a ballet dancer?
You
Someone's
do.
going to throw you in the air.
Well, it's an aesthetic look as well. It's like, you know, you're not going to be, you know, a 10 or 11 stone jockey. You're not going to be a 4-foot basketball player. You know, you're not going to be an unfit football player. But of course, for the men to be able to carry you for the length of time and the tricks that we have to be able to do, of course. But in fairness, like, if I wasn't as fit as I am, if I was to do some of the jumps that I do, I'd lose a kneecap, I'd hurt my back. You wouldn't get me to the end of the week. And that was actually the primary concern with these dancers, was me to try to kind of get their fitness in 20 weeks from zero to something where their body remembered how their muscles worked and what perhaps they could do. Because some of them used to be dancers, like Carol. She was one of the bigger ladies, and she used to be a dancer on cruise ships. And she was tiny, teeny, but she had this amazing coordination and this ease, and you see it at the end of the show. She dances a variation, and I keep saying she is so light in her feet. And some professional dancers don't have that. You know that everything is worked on, and that's why I was fascinated to work with them.
Okay. Well, we've got a game for you.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh, sorry, it's my link. Okay.
Yeah.
It's time to have a little bit of fun with Monica.
Okay.
Now, seeing as you spent a lot of time around tutus, at this stage, she pretty much knows them like the back of her hand. But throw Archbishop Desmond Tutu into the mix and you've got a totally different gig, okay?
One of our games.
Here's our game, Late Lunch Live. Now, you're going to see pictures of iconic dancers up on the screen, okay? Past and present, but we've replaced their faces or face with Archbishop Tutu.
Okay.
All you've got to do is identify the real person. Are you ready to play?
Yeah.
We will give you clues.
Okay.
If you're nice to us.
Okay, here we go. Question 1. Right, when the heavens opened in 1952, this dashing dancer refused to let it dampen his spirits. In fact, he felt glorious and rushed out and performed a merry dance. But who Tutu think it is?
There you go.
Bing Crosby. Is it?
No.
Is it not?
Can you see that? Look on the right.
It's your man. Is that not? Oh my God!
It's
Gene Kelly.
Gene Kelly.
Stop it! I'm going to burn in hell. Go on next.
Here's number 2. Don't be fooled by his name. This dancer is no dozer. At 5'2", he's the shortest male dancer to have ever been admitted to the Royal Ballet School.
Yes.
She hasn't even seen the picture
Don't
yet.
need you. I've heard the story.
There you
next.
go.
Okay. All right. Number 3. Someone call a doctor. The multi-talented dancer is coming down with a touch of night fever. But who Tutu think it is?
John Travolta.
Yay!
Yeah.
Number 4. She was the girl with $1 million legs who could do everything that a famous dance partner could do. But she did it backwards and in high heels. Who Tutu think it is?
Oh no, just don't. Oh my God. Who is it?
Think of a
I
biscuit.
know who it is.
Think of a biscuit.
Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers.
Yes!
Yes!
All right. All right. Next. This cheeky chappie is a real... This chappie is a real hit with the ladies. He's been paired with many lovely lassies during his career, but it's strictly professional. Who Tutu think it is?
Wow, nice pecs.
Oh God.
Sign in the background might help. That's strictly come
Brendan
dancing.
something or other?
Brendan something or other will do for us.
give it to her.
Cole.
Yes.
Brenda Cole.
He's wearing brown, so I got
All right.
All right.
This Irish American, sorry, it's really bad impersonation, started out as construction work in Chicago. but has gone on to become somewhat of a lord in the dancing world. Who do you think it is?
Have a look.
My hero, Michael Flatley.
Oh, right. That's him. That's him. By the way, Tom Cruise is looking for somebody for a new Irish movie. I think you've just got the part. OK. Like our esteemed guest today, this British prima ballerina danced her way to success at only 20 years old, becoming the youngest principal dancer in the history of the Royal Ballet. But who to think it is?
Darcy Bristol.
Yes!
Doesn't need any help with that one.
OK, number 8. Diversity is the key to the next dancer's success. Along with the other members of his troupe, he proved that Britain really does have talent with their unique style of street dance. To make a living, he's got to dance. Who think it is?
Ashley Banjo.
Yes!
Yes!
Okay.
He's amazing.
We'll quickly move on. The next dancer and actor had the time of his life, making women around the globe swoon with the super sexy dance moves. Who think it is?
It's Mr. Swayze.
Yes! And finally, this gorgeous lady is Ireland's most prolific ballet dancer. She's also a writer and television personality. Who is it?
It's myself.
Yay!
Tis you, tis you.
Done.
OK.
9 out of 10.
She got 9
You
out
really
of 10.
went
You get
for
to
it, though,
stay for
guys.
dessert. Yeah,
Well done,
we did.
well done.
We don't hold
Very
back.
seriously.
There's tons of people, and lots of people saying nice things about you. Monica seems like such...
Oh, sorry, Monica.
No, sorry. Hey.
And you too.
When hell freezes over. Monica seems like a driven person. Does she find it hard to get a work-life balance, or is her life her work? Asks Alana Kinsella.
It's a bit of both, really. Since I've had my son, I've really had to kind of
Pull back.
Yeah, but not even pull back. I couldn't even say I've done that. But just I want to spend more time with them, so I have to stop sometimes what I'm doing.
Yes.
Okay.
Does it always work? Not so much. But anyway.
Spread yourselves even.
No, I love my work, and I've told my son I love my work, so he's okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, by the way, will he dance?
Yeah, when I was away in Leeds, actually, he kicked his shoes off and he joined into a ballet class. And it was nothing to do with me, because I was very apprehensive. I was actually quite concerned he wouldn't like ballet, because that's what Mammy does all of the time, you know. But he loves it. And actually, one of the Fridays in creche, one of the little boys said that ballet was for girls, and Damien got really upset. And he missed a Saturday class. And the next Saturday, you know, I wasn't pushing him back. And he turned around and, like, he's only a kid. And he turned around and goes, Mammy, I love ballet. I want to go back.
Good boy.
And I was driving and I nearly cried, and I don't cry.
Good boy.
I'm not a crier. Yeah, I'm very proud of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like a great little person. How much does Monica like the style and the fashion of her performances? Some of the costumes look amazing.
I am obsessed with costumes. I get most of my costumes from Russia, and we have a costume lady now working with us. And Monica Ennis, who worked on Riverdance, worked with us occasionally. I mean, I'm obsessed with costumes, and I want people's eye to be drawn and understand that I've spent a lot of time and money and effort on this, you know. And they do, and the Irish public love it, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, did you experience a pressure to stay thin? She had an apple tart before one of her performances.
She hasn't stopped eating since she came on the show.
And she's been eating rings around us since she got here.
Once I was told when I was 15 I had to lose weight. But, you know, your body's changed, you're going through a lot of hormonal changes, and that happens. And I always had a really level head on me, thank God. And I always kind of thought, it's weight, you know, it's not the end of the world. So, you know, I've been lucky, but this is the way I was made genetically.
Yes,
That's
and
just
also
the
you've
way.
had a baby and your figure hasn't really changed, to be honest.
No, just my back isn't as bendy as it used to be. but
Mary
that's it.
from Cavan.
You're in good nick.
Thank you.
What a fantastic person Monica is, and start up an academy to avoid others having to go abroad. Wonderful, says
Thank you.
Fiona White.
Okay, I just wanted to say how fantastic it is to see how Monica has raised the profile of ballet within Ireland. It makes ballet accessible to all within Irish society. Congratulations, Monica. You're a great ambassador for the Made in Ireland brand, says Emer Waters.
Thank you so much.